Welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack. Today we're going to do a little IDP. We're going to talk about rookies. We're going to talk about defensive backs. But I'm not here alone, my friends. I'm here with Will Stevens Sr., who is actually a former radio host as well as a sports writer for the Daily Independent and the News Review out there in California. How you doing, Will?
Doing good, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing better that you're here to help me get through these defensive backs. I'm not going to lie, defensive back bores me. They're so volatile. They're so sleepy. It's like throwing a dart throw. You just never know what you're going to get. But this article I wrote over here at the Fantasy Six Pack, this is probably the last time we're going to get to showcase these guys before the combine begins. So thank you for coming on with me.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you, Steve.
I was going to ask you, because, I kind of live here doing fantasy football rankings, but I've never dabbled. I'm only a one sport guy. I don't really know too much about baseball. So what's it like writing for a fantasy football site, but also a baseball site? What's that like?
I'd say it's just as grueling and grinding as as what you do. You know what I mean? Obviously you got to know what you're talking about, and you got to study and do your research. And obviously, if you make a comment, you got to know what you're talking about, because guys, they feed in on that.
Because I don't know too much about it, but I know Joe Bond over here at the Fantasy Six Pack, he's got an award rankings channel. I mean, every single one of the sports, they're ranked somewhere. I know right now he's a top 3 ranker in fantasy football. I myself was ranked number 4 in IDP. So if anybody wants listening to the show and they want to hear about our award-winning rankings, come on over to Fantasy Six Pack. Right now we're doing a promo code F6PMLB24. You're going to save 15% off. It's a good discount going on right now if you want to hear about those award-winning rankings. Yeah, Will, I don't know a whole lot about baseball. I know they just did an article about second and third basemen, and I heard Joe talking that they hate pitchers. I don't know. You tell me. Does that make any sense to you?
I think it's based off of whether it's a redraft league or a dynasty league. I know I just got done doing 10 drafts on Yahoo, and
10. Holy
10,
cow.
yeah, and I did it within probably the last 3 days, and they're all redrafts. But I love, sticking with my pitchers and trying to get that squared away. Whereas, my hitters and stuff, each day I can just look at the waiver wire and try to pick up the hottest guy available. You know what I mean? Because obviously with hitters, you got more opportunities, whereas the pitchers, they're pitching once every 5 days. So you have to, make sure you're squared away pitching wise. You know what I mean?
Your hitters in. That makes sense. I see. So, I didn't mention this to the audience at home. Will's also a super fan. I've seen you in 32 leagues. We've played in some pretty exotic leagues before.
Yes, we have.
What's your favorite fantasy football league right now that you're in?
I know we talked about that earlier. My favorite, to be honest with you, is a league that I've been part of for 2 years. They call it the Threeg League, and that Threeg League consists of NCAA basketball, NCAA football, MLB, NBA, and the NFL. The best part about that league, yes, it is a cap league, but your resources, as they call the players that you use for NCAA basketball and football, come from colleges. So you bid on the college that you want, and you can use any of those players that you obviously had the highest bid for. It's an awesome format. I love being a part of it. Obviously we started with 14 teams last year. Now we're up to 16. And the other one that is an awesome league is they call it the Mesh League. It's where you draft a team through Sleeper NFL, and then you draft a team through Sleeper for NBA, and it's 224 teams in both leagues. And in the NBA one, we're up to March Madness now. So we take all these teams. Like right now, my team name is Georgia State. That's who I've been for the last 2 years. And we're March Madness, and you're obviously using NBA players, but you have a college theme going on with both leagues. It's awesome.
I imagine so. Playing basketball, baseball, football, you're a jack of all trades. So today we're going to talk about rookies, specifically defensive backs. And my question to you is, safeties and corners, I usually punt the position. They're so volatile. Why the heck do you think that position is probably the most riskiest? Why do you think that position's all over the place?
I think probably a lot of people would have varying, differences as far as opinions and stuff. My opinion is real basic. I think if you have somebody that is a phenomenal player on one side of the field, you can just go to the opposite side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys don't get the opportunities that they should get, or that they probably would have gotten, let's say 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? At least that's my opinion.
And then on top of that too, with strategies and stuff, corners kind of changing. They're moving them all around the place nowadays. But yeah, you could avoid a top corner. Revis Island, let me take a detour, go over here, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
those really good quarterbacks back then, I don't remember them ever trying to stray away from those guys. Whereas now they do try to stay away from those top tier guys. It's a different football scenery, at least in my opinion.
You said that. I've noticed like rookie defensive backs when they come in the NFL, like that's why people are still taking Sauce Gardner so high. His first 5 games of the season, they were just targeting him. They're peppering him because they're trying to see what the guy's made of. Then after that, they kind of go away from him and they try the other side of the field. So rookie defensive backs, to draft one's not a bad strategy. Once they start getting popular, maybe get off them a little bit,
Definitely.
And on that note, Will, this cornerback draft class is actually pretty darn loaded. It's pretty loaded. I don't really play a lot of corners in my leagues. How about you?
Yeah, the cornerback position, obviously, ours is a little different. The scoring is different, whereas, we don't do the standard scoring. We probably do the same stuff as you, Steve. We kind of tend to get these cornerbacks a lot lower in the draft. You know what I mean? I think that's okay. You know what I mean? And it's just whatever, that league that you're playing in. Scoring is everything. I know you believe that. I know you're the one that actually taught me that. Scoring is everything. That's how you predicate who you are going to choose as the draft.
I'm going to say there's I only got 6 safeties on my top 10 that I'm tracking. There's 8 corners this year, and it can go either way with those dudes. Exactly. So when I was doing this article, I was a bit frustrated because I'm like, they wanted to kind of package defensive backs together, safeties and corners. I'm like, how do I do that? So I got a bunch of guys that I kind of did as honorable mentions. So what I did is I got 4, the top 8 corners. I got from 5 to 8 are my honorable mentions, and you'll see the 4 in our rankings. Will, you're about my age. Do you remember in the 80s that rock band In Excess?
I do. One of my favorites.
There was a guy, Michael Hutchinson, and he was singing. There was this video. I think it's called Meditate. He has like a bulletin board, and he's like saying all this stuff, and they're throwing it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I vaguely.
I'm about to do it. For the audience at home. Okay. This notebook right here is all my friggin' cornerbacks, and I can't fit them in this article. So we're going to do a little bonus presentation. I'm going to go through the top 8 cornerbacks for the audience at home. Okay. So enjoy this. My number 8 cornerback is my honorable mention, Quinion Mitchell. Okay. This guy is 6 foot tall. He's the all-time leader in pass deflections, okay? He's on my list. There he goes, okay? Number 7. Good luck saying this name, Will. Enos Rakeshaw Jr.? What is this, a Key and Peele video? Aaron? I don't know how you say these names. Enos Rakeshaw Jr., number 7 corner on my list. He's a shutdown guy. At the line of scrimmage, he gets you. He jams you up. He's 6 foot tall, too. He's on my list, and I couldn't get the right about him, right? Okay. Number, where are we at? 876. Kamari Lassiter. That sounds like something you get at Olive Garden, right? Yeah, Kamari Lassiter. 6 foot tall again. One of the guys on this list, he moves around all the field. He can get the high points of the ball. Pretty exciting stuff. And then my last guy, sounds like a city. TJ Tampa, okay? He's 5'9", okay? He's a 5'9" guy, but the rest of them are pretty damn big. Have you noticed a trend on that recently too, with these taller, bigger guys coming out?
I think that's just an assumption that I made.
Yeah.
Not being as knowledgeable as a lot of the other guys that do this for a living. I think just seeing the size of a lot of these guys that have come out recently, I want to say probably within the last 3 to 5 years, you get a lot of these guys that are over 6 feet tall. I'm even shocked. I'm even kind of blown away. But I think what it is just that one-on-one matchup. You get a DK Metcalf against an undersized guy that 15 years ago, 5'11", maybe 5'10" was traditional. DK basically would just go up over you in order to make a play. And the guy that I would probably put, in place of DK would probably be Randy Moss. You remember Randy Moss,
Oh yeah.
And now these guys that were undersized years ago, now they're 6 foot and above, 6'2", 6'3".
Do you think like Pete Carroll might have changed the mold, like getting these bigger, taller corners kind of to shut down dudes in the slot? I mean, that's the earliest I seen it, but
I agree. I completely agree with you. And it's worked. I believe they were called the Legion of Boom, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the reason why, they could handle the one-on-one assignments and that type of stuff. And there's no gimmies with those guys. You know what I mean? I think that's what the guys want. They want a bigger corner, a bigger safety, guys that can match up one-on-one and be a lot more physical and have more size.
Speaking of physical defensive backs, this is my number 10. He's a safety. He packs a wallop, but he's not on here for his cover skills, let's say, okay? So I'm going to transition a little bit. But, yeah, check out the NXS video, Meditate. It's one of my favorites as a kid. He's doing the car. I was trying to be funny earlier. We'll get into the list now, okay? But I'm gonna entertain you with a joke. You ever heard of this guy, Sione Vaki?
I have not.
I've been saying this all offseason. This is probably the third or fourth podcast I've been talking about this guy. This guy's going to probably message me, and he's going to be like, Steve, stop talking about me. But it's such a funny story, dude. Let me tell you about this guy. The kid played at Utah, okay? He decided, because he's Mormon, Utah and everything, he decided to tell his coach, I'm going on a religious mission. So he goes and does his Mormon thing for 2 years, right? He comes back to college, and they're like, dude, he has his cleats in his hand. He has his duffel bag. They're like, dude, we can't use you. Can you play running back? He's like, I don't know. I'll try. So they suit him up for the first time ever. Utah being a small school, and he plays against California, a bigger school, right? Okay. This cat rushes for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wow. The next week they try him out again against USC now, and he scores 149 receiving yards against USC. Then he had 42 carries and he broke 20 tackles. So the reason I put him on here, this is more of a sentimental pick for me, considering how weak this running back class is. He could be in a conversation to play multiple positions. And as a safety, he's a hard hitter. So I'd give him a top 10 consideration. The deep leagues that we play in, like 32s, if we have kick return points, you might see this name around. So this could be a sneaky pick. Depending, I play in leagues with you, of course, so you're going to probably snipe me before I get to him. But you could probably get this guy super late because he goes to a small school.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate what you just did for me. It means a lot.
It's so rough since I've been doing this. People don't want to trade with me anymore, and I'm like giving them stuff.
Don't hold it against me if I take the guy, man.
It's so hard, man. Because you play leagues for the conversation or whatever. But yeah, that's a good find right there. I'm gonna move on to number 9. Okay, number 9 on our list. Nate Wiggins. Okay, so this is my next corner off the board. So I already gave you 4. So Nate Wiggins is my number 9 defensive back, but he would be my number 4 overall cornerback. What do you think about Nate Wiggins?
I like him. The size is what stands out. Plus, obviously I got an opportunity to watch him a little bit. I'm a Duke guy, and Duke, Clemson, they obviously don't like each other. So I got to watch a little bit of his tape and how he looks and stuff. I just think,
oh my God, you see his tape? It's amazing. You said his size, 6'2", runs a 4.5. Yeah, I mean, that's all you got to say about this guy. I might have him low. Where do you have him ranked?
I had him 4 overall.
See, Yeah, these corners are so hard to rank. I feel like we got him on there somewhere, but yeah, he's my number 9 defensive back.
We got
I'll
to
move
come
on
back,
from him.
Steve. We got to come back after the combine and see where they stack up.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. So I'm curious where you got the rest of these corners, but let's move on here to number 8. Number 8, I got Kool-Aid McKinstry. Who's making up these names? You know, Key and Peele are at home. They're writing these names down. The rake a shot. They're writing them down.
That's a good name. That is a very awesome name. You know what I mean? I've never heard of that.
We actually got 2 guys from Alabama on this list, but Kool-Aid Man gets it done. You know, he was a former 5-star recruit.
I did not know that, and I did not know that.
Speed. Yeah, he's up there. Some people have him even higher. I don't know. I think the combine's going to separate a lot of these guys.
I think we're falling in love with the Alabama quarterbacks a little too hard, at least in my personal opinion. I think personally, there's only one true cornerback that I could see play the very first game, and obviously we'll talk about it as you move forward. But I like Kool-Aid. I'm just saying I had him overall. I had him 6. So
did you? Okay, we're close. It's so hard doing these, and like I said, this is probably gonna be the last time we get to honor these guys and put them on a ranking list. The combine's gonna change a lot of things. We're gonna find out who could run. We're gonna find out, the running joke I used to do. And for the audience at home, if you ever want to check out my, I wrote an article on combine cheat codes, kind of just to give you an idea of what metrics work. But I'll tell you, every year the running joke will. A lot of these guys end up at the combine shorter than what they're told. They end up being an inch or 2 shorter or a little bit lighter.
No,
the truth comes out at the combine.
I would have never guessed that. I was under
every year it happens.
I was under the assumption that whatever their listed, sizes, that's exactly how they are.
They lie to get their stock up.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing these actual heights.
7, I got Jaden Hicks. I don't know if you know too much about Hicks, but PFF is tracking him. Another one of your big guys, 6'3", 212 pounds. He produced 83 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. His tape tells it all. He can sack, he can intercept, he can produce. I might even have him a little too low. I've seen guys on IDP guys like they're taking him a lot higher than I would have. But PFF IDP plus they're tracking this guy as a sleeper. I got him at 7 because I like the guys in front of him a little too higher. What says you about Jaden Hicks, Will?
I had him 9, and I
9,
know
okay.
I know what you're saying. I know what some guys might be thinking, but I think just his versatility, is actually a good thing. But I think the size factor, 6'3", 212, that to me, that should be the norm moving forward. But he plays hard, Steve, more than I do as far as, his playing abilities. I think he plays a little too hard. So my personal opinion, the reason why I put him down a little bit is availability. Is he the guy that's going to make the play, or is he the guy that's going to be overly aggressive and put his health at risk? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
We'll see as time, moves forward, but I'm just a little leery about that.
I don't ever really take these guys early, and I don't really have a lot of first-round draft picks. Just kind of where I am. So I'm looking for like sleepers, mid-tier, and these next 3 I'm very excited about. So for number 6, I have Kalen Bullock. You want to talk about a big boy right here? He's big. He's 6'3", 190. This is a 3rd-year player. He's got 4.5 speed, but another ball hawk. You notice a trend here. I like a lot of ball hawks on my list. I can see him playing as a 3rd nickel or a safety on any team. He's going to fall in drafts somewhere to a team that needs him. You think about where they have this guy drafted. He's going in later rounds. I don't know if there's going to be a safety taken in the 1st round this year. I really don't.
With Kalen, I think kind of like Alabama is, I think people are falling in love with the school rather than the player. I'm not saying he's not a good, football player, especially playing the safety position. Again, the guy's 6'3", 190. I have him a little lower. I have him 7. I don't think he's going to be, kind of starting off as a number one, safety on the team or getting the opportunities that you would hope for a person coming from USC, or at least that's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. That's why I want to come back. I want to look at after the combine, and I'd like to maybe after the season and just see, if any of these predictions obviously came true, because obviously I'm a baseball guy. I love baseball, but knowing, the value of these guys and how well they're going to do, I'm interested to see if I'm on par.
I wrote an article. We did a best ball last year.
Okay.
It was like 246 teams. We did an IDP best ball over on a couple different networks did it. And I wrote an article, the last rounds you can get defensive backs. I got guys like Rudy Ford. I got guys just Harrison Smith. You got guys just popping off. If any one of these guys pops off and we know about it now and you put it out here, trust me, people are going to be blowing you up.
I'm okay with that. I want people to tell me, "Hey, Will, you messed up, man," because at least I can learn from it and move forward and admit my wrongs. You know what I mean? I've done that several times in baseball too throughout the years. It's just part of the game,
Part of it. That's how you grow. Hey, the number 5 here, right? This is kind of interesting because some people have him as their CB1. Obviously, I don't. He's a little bit lower. He's going as one of my. After a tier 3 kind of guy, but Terrion Arnold, a lot of people love that name. A lot of people love that school. Playing in Alabama. That's where the real NFL is going to differ from this fancy IDP stuff. He's a 5-star recruit with 4.5 speed, but he's an outside corner. Will, that's my problem. If you want a corner and you want to draft one for the leagues we play in, you want that slot guy. You want that guy inside to get tackles. He's more of an outside corner. So I've kind of had this debate with a lot of people recently. I have a guy higher than him for different reasons, but a true talent, I think Arnold's your guy at 5. What says you, Will?
I got him 5 too.
There you go.
It's everything you just said is exactly what I agree with. He's the number one guy in Alabama, in my personal opinion. I think he will be a starter day one. Maybe some people might not agree, but I think teams that are hurting at the cornerback position, they're gonna pull this guy, and I guarantee you, in my personal opinion, here's another prediction that I'm making. By the time the season is over, his numbers will be better than everybody else on this list. Mark my word.
So for those tracking my NXS cue card earlier, trying to be silly, this is my number 2 corner, guys. Okay. I'm going to probably get drugged for my number 1. I don't care. I can justify it. I can back it up. I'm a big boy. I can defend myself. I'm going to back up my number 1. He's coming up in a couple minutes. Let's get the 4. Number 4, rookie defensive back for me is Javon Bullard. A lot of people have him and Bullock switched around, and I'm okay with that. But I like Bullard a little bit better. What says you, Will?
Javon, I have him way farther down. I have number 8.
And I know why you do.
And you do know why.
You are a sizist. You like these big dudes, don't you?
Yeah. He is undersized in today's NFL. That guy, I want to say he's 5'11", if I'm correct.
Yep. 195, 5'11". Yeah. So that's 2 things working against him.
He plays safety. He plays safety, correct?
Yep.
So I'm not saying he can't put 15, 20 pounds on and be able to play that position, really, really well. But in my personal opinion, I think he's going to have to be a big hitter. He's going to have to be a guy that's going to make plays, kind of put his body
like a Bob
out there.
Sanders type of the Colts,
I completely agree with you. And wasn't Bob Sanders 5'9"?
Yeah, he was 5'8" or 5'9". Yeah, so same kind of degree.
There you go.
Littler guy trying to make.
He'd have to play like Bob Sanders.
He's going to have to if he's going to be productive. But yeah, you're right. Looking at what you said, that does make sense. These littler guys are going to have to fight for it to get on the field. I'm expecting him to play free safety at the next level. I don't see him being I wouldn't be that intimidated if he was in the box, But I think
especially if these guys are running 9 routes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of where I'm thinking with him. Number 3 ranked defensive back and my number 1 cornerback, Cooper. Now, how do you say this? Is it DeJean or DeJean? But it's Cooper
Didn't we
DeJean.
talk about that?
I don't know.
I want to say DeJean. Yeah, I mean,
It
'cause I like
probably is, but
sounding.
this guy here is a multiple sport player like yourself. He's a multiple sport stud. He's an all-star recruit there. He plays a little run back, a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. I'm looking at him for that offensive value, man. I'm looking at him as a maybe kick returner next level. He can do a lot of different things. I'm going to throw this nugget at you. Whatever team, it's rumored right now, whatever team ends up taking at the Vikings take, whatever corner they take, whether it's him or Arnold, there's talks they're going to move that guy to strong safety. So that might be an extra value. So for the audience at home, enjoy that. Cooper DeJean, I have a little bit higher. He's a three-letter athlete. He plays basketball, track, and baseball. Something Will could tell you about because I don't really know.
Hey,
but I'll tell you,
my kind of athlete.
He's got the long jump down. He's got the 100-meter down. He does a lot of everything. Again, probably his weaknesses, unlike the other guys on this list, he gets lost a little bit in coverage. But hey, in IDP, we don't care about that, do we? You get lost in coverage, you get targeted, you get the tackles, we get the points.
Damn right.
So.
Damn right. Now I have him number 1 overall. Do
you really?
I do. I think he's deserving of the number 1 pick, at least in my personal opinion. Even though Terrion Arnold will have the better numbers after the season as far as longevity and career wise, I think Cooper has the better career. Again, hold me to this. If you know anything about Iowa is not really known for producing cornerbacks. They're more known for producing really good linebackers. You know what I mean? This guy stands out. He's a guy that if I was a general manager, coach, and I was hurting at the defensive position, the guy can go up against your tight ends. He can play, slot. He's going to be a physical guy. You know what I mean?
That's a good take.
That's what we need. In order for us to be successful, I honestly think that guys like him have to set the tone. And
you know what else too, Will? He's being mocked as the 1.7 overall. So you're not wrong if you have him as the number 1 overall defensive back.
Well, let's see if I'm right.
The way I'm programmed, I always like to get that safety because I want that cheat code. I want that box snap, kind of thing. So I got 2 safeties coming up. And this is pretty much the consensus. Tell me what you think about these guys. Okay. I got number 2. I got Kamren Kinchens. He likes to hit people. He's a thumper. He likes to lay it on people. He's a center field type athlete. Any thoughts on Kamren Kinchens?
I knew this was coming, Steve. As we spoke about, I just cannot stand Miami. I'm a Duke guy. So, your take on Kamren is a lot better than mine because I didn't really follow this guy. I did see his numbers. His numbers were phenomenal. But I cannot get behind any Miami guys. I'm sorry. I know that probably sounds biased. Knowing my luck, he'll probably be the number 1 guy after the season. But I don't know. Your take is a lot better than mine in regards to him. He is a good football player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's got every down versatility.
He's undersized too. Don't forget that. He is undersized, 5'11", so he's gonna have to bring it just like Bullard.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at that high tackle value, but you're right about that. But he's been my 2. Again, the combine's going to weed these guys out. And number 1, you've already guessed it. You already know who number 1 is. We've talked this before. Tyler Nubin. Tyler Nubin, I mean, what doesn't that guy do? Tyler Nubin is he's an exceptional athlete to begin with. He is the number 1 safety in this draft coming out of Minnesota. What says you about Tyler Nubin?
I have him too, but I will say this. I had him as part of my Minnesota resource for 3. Very good player. But in 3, what you have to do is you have to take these guys that are really, really good, that are going to be good, really good at the next level, which a lot of these guys in 3 agree. But you got to take these guys and use them as an opportunity to get better in a different sport. And that's what I did with Tyler is I had him. Everybody wanted him. I sold him high, ended up getting a couple really good players for basketball and ended up doing really, really well, because of him. So basically I sold high on Mr. Nubin. I love the kid. I think he's phenomenal. He's 6'2", 210. And I believe we talked about this. The guy's a ball hawk. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This guy will make plays. And again, just like Cooper, I think he will be one of those guys that, he will become a leader on the defense, a guy that you want to play for, that you'll go to battle for, and, try to win games and compete, with.
I was crunching numbers on him. He's got the stats, he's got the IDP value, he's got the right position. But even coverage-wise, I was crunching stats on him. Quarterbacks thrown at him, top quarterbacks playing all year, their QBR rating drops from 100 to 17.8.
Oh.
That's pretty impressive. So this is your guy. He does it all right there.
Yeah, that says it all right there. He should have a good career, but I'm hoping he goes to a team where he can start day one. I'm telling you, this kid, he can set the tone with the team that needs that position greatly.
Gotcha. So this is our list. I mean, I feel pretty good about it. Guys may move around a little bit. Was there anybody on this list that you didn't see, or is anybody on this list you disagreed with? Any sleepers? Anybody you want to give love to on this list?
I don't have any. Obviously, this position is a lot less, than other positions as far as, in Dynasty, that type of stuff. But I love your list. Obviously, I had a few guys mixed around, but your list is phenomenal. I love it. I'm totally agree. And I will say this, just give you and everybody else a heads up. I will be trying to steal Vaki from you. I hope I said that right.
I got another one I didn't really put on this podcast, and I'll throw it in for the audience. If
it's a Miami guy, I don't want to hear it, Steve.
It is. It is. You know who I'm thinking of?
I do.
Go ahead and give him some love then, because he's a 6'5", 230-pound
Is it James Williams?
It is. You got it. You're reading my mind, my friend.
And I'm assuming because of his 4.46 speed, correct?
Not just that, he's a 5-star. He's a good blitzer. Okay. Yeah, that's my other kind of sleeper in the window. It's the first time I ever brought him up, so it's so funny that you actually were key on that.
It's a good sleeper pick. Again, I'm gonna try to stay unbiased. I don't want to be the guy like, oh, he's just hating on this guy. Like, I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys either. But I have to be honest. CeeDee Lamb is the reason why I was able to make it to the semifinal. I made it one game before the championship because of CeeDee Lamb, and I'm just definitely not a Cowboys fan, but I will give credit where it's due. The guy's a phenomenal player. I just don't know a lot about him. I've heard a lot about him, but as far as what I've seen, no, because obviously he's a Miami guy. So, but I will work on that as we progress.
I want to give credit where credit's due too. Over here at the Fancy Six Pack, we got award-winning rankings. Every baseball, basketball, football, you name it. Joe Bond was the number 3 ranker last year. I was number 4 IDP. We're gonna roll with this. We're gonna have a strong year as well. Rankings, projections, DFS advice. If you come over to us, we got the best Discord. I'm on there as well in the chat talking to people. All you got to do right now, we're running a promo. It's F6P sheet. You will save 15% off on your subscription. So come on over, guys, and check us out. I don't have too much more in this episode. Will, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, you had to bring up the Miami guy, and then my dog in the background had to get a little agitated because of it. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. And I just want to give a little shout out to Will for coming on with us. Follow him over on Sleeper or on Twitter. He's up all night like me. Will Stevens Jr. State of Court 15, right?
Yes, sir. And thank you, Steve. I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
And I appreciate your friendship all these years, playing with me, rivaling me, trading with me, giving me advice back and forth. And thanks for coming on, because I knew if anybody I knew that knows their football content, their defensive backs, it would be you, my friend.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, and I look forward to doing this again.
Okay, you're definitely going to come back on. We'll review these things after the combine and look for some mock draft stuff that we're about to do as well. I'll pull you in, and then we'll discuss this offseason, okay?
All right. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thanks again, Will. For the audience at home, have a good night. We're going to be doing this is one of a 3-part series. We're going to do linebackers and defensive linemen in the next week. So take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye.